Hi guys, welcome back to 100% Mag. So I hope you're all staying safe and well out there. So I know I haven't uploaded for the last few days now, but I have been busy off of YouTube for a bit with some personal things. And of course, I am back to do a video today to talk about some more Newcastle United news that's been circulating around. And we're going to cover all of the news as well to the best of my ability from what has been coming out since I last uploaded. Now, to start off the video, we're going to be talking about, of course, the tickets for Newcastle United next season. Now, the season ticket prices have been released, but also the prices for the Champions League have been released as well, with adults being charged £55 to attend a Champions League game, and concessions for £30 to attend a game. Of course, there is also some new features added to the season tickets as well when they were released, and that is, of course, a priority access to opt in to a cup scheme. That means that Carabao Cup will automatically trigger the purchase of an existing season ticket seat, subject to availability, of course, on that for any home 23-24 Carabao Cup match. Does not include the final if, of course, we reach that. The Emirates FA Cup scheme, of course, is again the same as the Carabao Cup one. It will automatically trigger the purchase of an existing season ticket subject again to, of course, availability for the game for any home 23-24 Emirates FA Cup match. And of course, that does not include the semi-final or final if reached, of course. And then we'll look at the Champions League. Of course, this is purely optional. You don't have to opt into it if you don't want to, but you might as well. If you've got a season ticket, then you might as well opt into it, and you might as well, reserve your seat for the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup games when they play at St James's Park, of course, as long as it is not a semi-final game for the FA Cup, then we're perfectly fine on that one, which I don't think the semi-finals anyway are at St James's Park. I think they're always down at Wembley anyway. But looking at it, there's been quite a few people picking apart the Champions League and saying it's kind of expensive. I think £55 for an adult is a pretty fair price at the end of the day. For to go and watch a Champions League game. I mean, I remember it was quite expensive when we were last in the Champions League, and I went with my family. We all went and watched Juventus at St James's Park, and it was well over £100 for the five of us to go and see. Combined, that was the price that were paid. That was well over £100 back then to go see Newcastle play. Of course, at St James's Park against Juventus for that match, and it was a really interesting match, fantastic match, and one of the nights that I'll always remember as a Newcastle United fan. Watching we take on Juventus at St James's Park, and now we get a chance to see that once again. We get to see Newcastle once again playing European nights at St James's Park. It's been a while. The last time we were there was back in 2003. So it's been quite a while since we were last in the Champions League. But I think £55 for an adult is a pretty fair price. Concessions, £30, that is absolutely fantastic. It's a steal when you consider, the amount of talent that you're going to be able to see on showing them Champions League games as well at St James's Park. And not to mention, our players that you'll get to see, what was signed in this window and the ones that are already there as well. And then the talent coming in to play as well. There's some fantastic players out there in the European leagues, and it'll be interesting to see them rocking up to St James's Park to take on our lads, of course, in front of a packed out St James's Park under the lights, hopefully, as well. Moving on to talk about, of course, the season ticket prices now. This, I think, is absolutely fantastic. When you look at the prices that have been released by Newcastle United for season tickets, the family area, it is an absolute steal. £438 for an adult to go sit in the family area of St James's Park. That is an absolute steal when you consider the amount of talent, like I've just said, you know, that you're going to be able to see and what is going to be on show. That is for adults, of course. It's an even bigger steal for students and seniors, and then an even bigger steal again for under 18s. Of course, students and seniors are going to be able to see Newcastle United rocking it at St James's Park next season, of course, for £357. That is absolutely fantastic. You know, price right there for the family area as well. So it is going to be a little bit higher up, but you know, you can't argue with the price and the amount of quality that you're going to get to see. But that's the student and senior price, of course, £357. And then under 18s, like I said, that is an absolutely massive steal in the family area at £86 to go see Newcastle United play next season with a season ticket. And that is just absolutely sensational for anybody 17 and under. You know, that is just an absolutely sensational bargain to go see Newcastle United for £86. You know, that is absolutely amazing. That's just a little bit less than what you pay for the Newcastle United home shirt with all the trimmings. So, you know, that shows you how much of a bargain that is. Then, of course, you've got the seating category 3. Which goes up a little bit for adults, of course, to £630, £504 for students and seniors, 18 to 21 year olds, £300, so still not too bad for that one, £174 for under 18s. Seating category 2, of course, for adults is £692, £563 for student and senior citizens, of course, in category 2 seating, and £330 for 18 to 21 year olds. Under 18s, again, another steal at £217. In category seating 1, of course, it's £852 for adults, £700 for student and senior citizens. No price for 18 to 21 year olds, but £327 for under 18s for category 1 seating inside St James's Park. But, you know, do you really need category 1 seating inside St James's Park? Fair enough if you want to be a little bit closer to the pitch, but every seat is absolutely fantastic in St James's Park. There's not a single seat in there, that stadium, you know, that is not a good view of the pitch. Quite a few people complain, you know, away fans, we hear them complain all the time about having to go all the way up to level 7, but I've sat up at level 7, you know, in the home section, and I've got to say it's a really good view all the same, even though it is quite high up. You know, it is still an absolutely fantastic view, and you really can't complain about it, you know, especially when you consider most grounds have obstructed views. But Newcastle, you know, St James's Park, our stadium's always been fantastic. We've always had perfect views right the way around the stadium, nothing obstructing the view of the pitch at all. So you're getting full quality to view the game and experience, you know, such a fantastic atmosphere, probably one of the best atmospheres in the world, in my opinion. Of course, it is a biased opinion being a Newcastle United fan. But then, of course, we've got premium seating. Adults, of course, in the Platinum Club will be paying £1,108 for the pleasure to go see Newcastle United play next season. That, to be honest, is absolutely fantastic when you consider, you know, what you are getting with that. At the end of the day, you are getting quite a bit with it. I remember when we went on the tour, they were saying that you do get quite a lot of drinks, you get cheese board and all that stuff as well. So, you know, that's obviously more for, you know, people that want to go with a business, with a client, maybe it's even, you know, people that are a little bit better off, a little more wealthier in the fan base, you know, they want to support the team in style, so they do it that way. That's perfectly fine, you know, that's money that's going to be going back into the coffers of Newcastle United. But I just don't see where all this disruptive behaviours coming from, where all this attitude's coming from some of the fans and the fan base, complaining that the tickets have went up in price. I've heard that, the Carabao Cup games are now going to be £20 instead of £10. Fair enough, because at the end of the day, that money is going to go back into the team. That's going to allow us to spend more money out there on the pitch, and that is the whole point. It was good whilst it lasted to get £10 tickets to go to Carabao Cup games and cup games in general, but we all knew it wasn't going to last. We all knew, when these owners came in, that would have to change, and I'm all for it at the end of the day. There may be quite a few people that'll disagree with us on that, but at the end of the day, it's all about progressing on the pitch, progressing the club forward, moving forward to try and be the best team in the world. And the only way you can do that is by spending money on the team, on the field, making sure that that money is going into the team. And that is what these owners are doing. So just lay off, sit back, relax, enjoy the ride. Allow yourself to enjoy the ride, because we've been on a horrible journey over the past 14, 15 years. We are now at a point, where we've got owners that care for the club, want to invest in the club, and we've got a manager that knows what he's doing, a backroom staff that know what they're doing as well. So just sit back, relax, quit the whinging, allow yourself to enjoy it, and, just embrace the moment that we are in moving forward. But looking at the news, of course, around transfers as well, we're hearing James Maddison, according to Scott Wilson, I believe it is, of the Echo, I think he reports for, and he is coming out and saying, that James Maddison is wanting to move to Tottenham. He's saying that is a more priority move for personal reasons, obviously, because he's got such a young family. He's obviously wanting to stay down in that area of the country. But there is other reports coming from Ben Jacobs, who is a Leicester City fan. So, take it with a pinch of salt. He would probably know a lot more about what is going on at Leicester than most journalists, being that he is a fan of the club. And he is saying that Newcastle will move for James Maddison. Newcastle, of course, its plan is to be disciplined. We are looking at around a 40 million market value for James Maddison, with his contract expiring next summer. So we don't want to go above that valuation, according to Ben Jacobs. And he is saying that Eddie Howe really wanted Maddison last season, which he did, of course, in the summer. And his options haven't changed, of course. He's high on the list still, according to Ben Jacobs. Maddison is very high on the list still for Newcastle and Eddie Howe. And of course, there is a bunch of other players that were being linked to as well in a similar position, with Shabalsi in there as well, with Newcastle looking to bring that price down of 70 million euros in the release clause to try and see if we can bring him into the club. Of course, that may be a possibility as well, with RB Leipzig not too happy when I last reported on, of course, Shabalsi. RB Leipzig weren't too happy about his comments, saying that he would be remiss if he didn't decide to move to a top team before his career is out. Obviously, he's only young, but he is thinking about his future. So that is something that has upsetted RB Leipzig, of course, in the fact that they see themselves as a top team. But obviously Shabalski doesn't see them as a top team, and he wants to move, of course, to somebody else. And he's been very interested in a move to Newcastle United. So that's another one that is still going on and still on the radar of Newcastle United. Another player that is on the radar of Newcastle United in left back is Mark Cucurella from Chelsea. Of course, this is coming from Mirror Football, so take it with a pinch of salt if you do want to believe this one, of course, and it is saying that he is available for 30 million from Chelsea. Would we take Mark Cucurella? I mean, we've seen what he could do when he was at Brighton. He was a fantastic player, but at Chelsea, last season, was he really amazing, or was he even half decent? I think he did do quite good in a few games, but you know, we'll have to see on this one. It wouldn't be a bad shout, to be honest, of course, with the links of Dan Ashworth being the man that, of course, brought him into Brighton. So, you know, that could be in player that we could definitely 100% be looking at bringing in to the club. And we are looking at a left back position as well to try and bring somebody in there, of course, because we don't want to have to rely just on Dan Burn playing in that position, especially with the Champions League football as well. The season tickets as well, I forgot to mention. Season ticket renewal is now live. There's plenty of time, so no need to rush for to get your season tickets renewed. But of course, the renewal for the 23-24 season, the deadline for season ticket renewals is at 5 p.m. on Wednesday, the 5th of July. So if you can do it before that time, then make sure to do so. If not, then that is the deadline, and you have to make sure that you get your season ticket renewed before then, of course. Otherwise, you will lose your place and you will not get your season ticket back, with, of course, the massive waiting list that is in line for to get a season ticket. It's in Newcastle these days. And Newcastle are considering a contract extension for Bruno to be the priority. According to Fabrizio Romano, talks have taken place with more expected very soon. And then, of course, there's the crazy of crazy, as there always is in the transfer window. There's reports coming from Rishad Ryman, I believe it's pronounced. Sorry if I have butchered his name, but he is a reporter for Barcelona. And he is saying that Newcastle have offered 30 million euros plus Bruno for Rafinha, and I'm going to shoot this one down completely, because no way is Bruno leaving Newcastle United in a part exchange, and he's not leaving Newcastle United altogether, to be honest, because he is one of the main players that Eddie Howe will look to build a team around. Obviously, Joe Linton in there as well after his fantastic transformation into the player that he is now. And of course, he bagged himself a goal as well, Joe Linton, on his debut for his international side, Brazil, of course. A fantastic goal, well deserved goal as well, and I'm absolutely chuffed to bits for Joe Linton that he bagged himself a goal on his debut, put in a fantastic shift as well. 65 minutes he played for Brazil, and the Brazil manager seems really impressed with him, so I do believe he will get more caps as well moving forward. We've also seen Callum Wilson score as well for England in this internationals as well, and Almiron as well scoring for Paraguay against Nicaragua as well. So let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Plenty talked about in today's video. Make sure to hit a like on it. Make sure to please subscribe to the channel as well, as I'm on the road to 2k subscribers. I'm really trying to build a subscriber base up on the channel moving forward. And I know this one has been a bit more on the longer side. Now on 19 minutes long, this video. But there was quite a bit to get through. Hopefully, of course, you enjoy it. And if you do, please do hit a like on the video so that I do know that you've enjoyed it. And if you can also comment down in the comments below as well, how are the lads, then I will know that you have watched the entire video right the way through to the end, as I want to make sure, you know, that I am getting quite a bit of watch time on these videos as well, as it does help the channel to grow. But till next time, I'll see you in the next one, and how are the lads.